her captor after nearly a year held hostage. The heart-pounding moments: a woman was able to get away after nearly a year held against her will and being driven across country. Plus,
a plea of not guilty.
The 5 former officers accused of killing Tyree Nichols pleading not guilty just weeks after the world watched those horrific police and traffic cameras of Nichols' beating. And
you always want to relate to the characters and their experience and find yourself within them, in a possibly wish fulfillment way.
He played a teen heartthrob, a dependable dad. Now Milo Ventimiglia is embracing a very different kind of character, stepping into the shoes of a con man and dropping hints at some potential projects ahead. Good evening, I'm Phil Lipoff in for Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more tonight. The high-stakes operation in Syria that took out a top ISIS leader, leaving 4 U.S. service members injured. We're going to have an update on their condition. Plus, why the Biden administration is now calling off its attempt to salvage those downed balloons, and the plea Ukraine's president is making as we near 1 year to the day since Russia's invasion. Our correspondents are fanned out across the globe covering those stories and more for you tonight. But we begin with 7 mass shootings in the last 5 days. The latest, a deadly shooting spree in a small Mississippi town. 6 people are dead after a gunman opened fire at several locations in rural Tate County, which is about 50 miles away from Memphis, Tennessee. Tonight, a suspect is in custody. Meantime, in Michigan, a grieving community is preparing to lay 2 of the 3 students killed on campus at Michigan State Monday to rest this weekend. We have now seen 73 mass shootings in the 48 days so far in 2023. Ariel Reshef leads us off tonight with more on that latest mass shooting in Mississippi.
Tonight, investigators say this man went on a deadly shooting rampage in a small town in Mississippi, gunning down 6 people at 3 separate locations in the rural town of Arkabutla, about 30 miles outside Memphis. A local elementary school and high school both going into lockdown as authorities pursued the suspect. Tonight, that suspect is in custody, authorities identifying him as 52-year-old Richard Dale Crum. Governor Tate Reeves tweeting, "We believe he acted alone. His motive is not yet known."
And Phil, authorities say that Crum had 2 handguns and a shotgun. He's been charged with first-degree murder, with more charges expected in the coming days. Phil?
Ariel, thank you. Next tonight, 5 former Memphis police officers made their first appearance in court and pleaded not guilty to the murder of Tyree Nichols after that traffic stop and violent beating caught on camera. Nichols' mother was also in the courtroom today, and she spoke out after the arraignment. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
This was the first time the family of Tyree Nichols was able to look into the faces of these 5 former police officers.
And offered the court a plea of not guilty.
But they were all wearing masks as they entered pleas of not guilty in this Memphis courtroom.
They didn't even have the courage to look at me in my face after what they did to my son. So they're going to see me at every court date until we get justice for my son.
Unlike the 29-year-old who they are seen violently beating in this disturbing police camera video from January 7th, they will go home tonight, out on bond. One of their lawyers said it wasn't true that none of the officers tried to help the victim when it was clear he was wounded.
I think you hear his voice consistently saying, sit up, man, so you can get air. He was doing his job, no more, no less. He never struck anybody. He never did anything other than his job.
In this case, the 5 accused former policemen are all black and are all fighting second-degree murder and other charges. And the list of officers and fire department personnel who've been fired or disciplined over this continues to grow. 4 other first responders have now lost their jobs, and 9 more are under investigation.
This is where he was.
It was a tough day for the family. Before today's hearing, they met at a memorial still on the street corner where their son called out for his mother.
And let's get right to Steve now in Memphis. Steve, there could be, as you're finding out, even more potential fallout from this case in the days ahead.
That's right, Phil. We are still waiting for the possibility of federal charges in this case against these former officers. And one big development that we're learning about today, authorities here are announcing that they're reviewing about 75 cases that were handled by the police unit, the specialized police unit that these former officers belong to, that has since been disbanded. Phil.
All right, Steve Osunsami from Memphis tonight. Steve, thank you. And now to Los Angeles, where the suspect accused of shooting 2 Jewish men outside separate synagogues is now facing federal hate crime charges. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman.
Tonight, federal authorities leveling hate crime charges against the suspect who shot 2 men leaving their synagogues and struck fear into the heart of Los Angeles' Jewish community.
Both shooting victims were dressed in clothing that visibly identified their Jewish faith, including black coats and head coverings.
Wednesday morning, police say Jamie Tran tailed, then targeted a man in his 40s, shooting him in the back as he left morning prayer at his synagogue.
They didn't stop them to get their wallet. There was no struggle. The guy just came out of the bushes, shot my friend, and ran away.
Then on Thursday, just about a block away, they say Tran shot another man. This one in his 70s, shot in the arm minutes after he left the synagogue. Tran, who prosecutors say has a history of making anti-Semitic comments, was captured near Palm Springs on Thursday, an AK-style rifle and a handgun found in his vehicle. According to the criminal complaint, Tran stated that he had looked up a kosher market on Yelp and decided to shoot someone in the area of the market. And that he said he knew the victims he shot were Jewish because of their headgear. Tran allegedly telling investigators he was homeless and obtained the firearms from someone he did not know in Arizona. Jewish organizations say they're seeing rising numbers of anti-Semitic incidents, including harassment, vandalism, and violence, with cases occurring in all 50 states.
The 200% increase in reported incidents over the past couple of years, and an increasing rate of that increase over the past couple of months. Actually, we've seen a rise.
So it's actually accelerating right now?
It's accelerating, very much so, yeah.
And people in the Jewish community keenly aware of that. Let's get to Matt Gutman now. And Matt, it's Friday, it's the Sabbath tonight, and even with the suspect in custody, there are still concerns.
Lots of concern, Phil, and in addition to that, palpable fear, Jewish organization leaders tell me. They are at their highest level of alert right now, their security being bolstered by stepped-up patrols from the LAPD. But they say they have been sounding the alarm about this for months now, that hate speech online leads to hate acts, and that leads to hate crimes. Phil.
All right, Matt Gutman from Los Angeles tonight. Matt, thank you. Turning now to an incredibly disturbing story. A woman made a brazen escape from her kidnapper after almost a year held captive. You can see that woman in this footage running into a New Jersey gas station following a drive across country. The man on the other side of that door, allegedly her captor. You can then see people inside the station helping her and ultimately alerting police. New Jersey State Police arrested her kidnapper, they say is James Perillo, following the woman's escape. Perillo met that woman in New Mexico last year, traveled to New Jersey with her, and police say assaulted her in her residence where he rented a room. The suspect took her phone, isolated her from family, and police say used her debit cards. Perillo is being held on charges of kidnapping, strangulation, aggravated assault, and criminal restraint. The FDNY says 20 firefighters have been injured, 20 after tending to a house fire in Staten Island. The fire broke out this afternoon in the neighborhood of Arden Heights. Crews were battling the blaze when the back of the home collapsed. 3 firefighters sustained critical injuries and 17 others are being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Tonight, more government help is on the way to East Palestine, Ohio, after that toxic train derailment now 2 weeks ago. The Biden administration has promised to send medical and toxicology teams, and the governor has set up a medical clinic as well. Authorities say the water and air are safe, but as we've been reporting all week, residents remain skeptical. Mona Kosar-Abdi reports.
2 weeks after that fiery derailment sent up a massive toxic plume over East Palestine, Ohio, the governor reporting EPA officials have found no contaminants after sampling the air in 500 homes and around the community.
Nothing from the train derailment was found in the homes. Nothing was found out on the street.
But officials will keep testing in the area. So far, he says samples from the Ohio River, the municipal water supply, and private wells are coming back clean.
If you get your water from a private well, You are encouraged to use bottled water until your water is confirmed to be safe. That, again, is just out of abundance of caution.
It comes as frustration boiled over at this town hall, some complaining of health issues, residents demanding answers.
Everybody satisfied with my answer?
Phil, the state is setting up a clinic for residents to get evaluated, and a team of medical personnel and toxicologists from the HHS and the CDC are expected to arrive as early as Monday. Phil?
Mona, thank you. The search has ended for parts of the Chinese spy balloon shot down off the coast of South Carolina. Military officials say they have recovered the balloon and its payload. Both have been sent to an FBI lab for analyzing. 3 other unidentified objects were shot down. The search for one in Lake Huron has been officially suspended. One official telling ABC News the other 2 that went down in areas so remote, it's possible they will never be found. New tonight from the Pentagon, a helicopter raid in Syria took out a senior ISIS leader, but the operation also left 4 troops and a military service dog wounded. ABC's Stephanie Ramos reporting from the White House.
Tonight, 4 American Special Operations Forces and their military dog wounded in Syria after their helicopter raid on a top ISIS leader ended in an explosion.
The troops and the working dog are in stable conditions, are being treated at a U.S. medical facility in Iraq.
The raid targeting ISIS senior leader Hamza al-Hamzi, who oversaw the group's deadly terrorist network in eastern Syria. But when the troops arrived, he detonated an explosive device, the blast killing him and wounding the Americans. The White House saying President Biden has been briefed.
When it comes to situations like this, of course, the president is closely involved.
Stephanie Ramos joins us now from the White House. Stephanie, this raid is a really good reminder that ISIS remains a pretty serious threat.
Absolutely. At its peak, ISIS had at least 100,000 fighters. This latest raid is just one of many that has cut that number down significantly. Of course, operations continue. And I do want to mention that a separate U.S. raid conducted on that same night, Thursday night, resulted in the death of another ISIS leader. No civilians were injured in either operation. Phil.
Stephanie Ramos from the White House. Stephanie, thank you. The top Republican on the House Oversight Committee announced today he has formally requested information related to the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. Chairman James Comer and 5 Republican subcommittee chairs seeking, quote, all documents, communications, and information related to President Biden's military and diplomatic withdrawal from Afghanistan, which they deem to be disastrous. Ultimately, 13 service members along with 100 Afghan civilians were killed after a terror attack occurred amid the withdrawal. Now to the war in Ukraine. As Russia makes advances in eastern Ukraine, President Zelensky is making a passionate plea to U.S. and Western allies to speed up the military aid. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Ukraine.
Tonight, intense battles raging across frontline areas in eastern Ukraine. Russian forces attempting to encircle the key city of Bakhmut and claim a victory for Vladimir Putin in time for the first anniversary of the start of the war just a week away. And what they can't achieve with firepower, they're trying to achieve with manpower.
They're sending a lot of troops. I don't think that's sustainable for them to keep attacking this way. There are places where their bodies are just piled up.
Ukraine insisting it'll hold Bakhmut, but struggling with low ammunition and limited firepower. President Zelensky today urging European leaders to act faster to support Ukraine.
We need to hurry up. We need the speed of our agreements, speed of decisions to limit Russian potential. There is no alternative to speed.
And in the fire zone, residents being urged to leave as soon as possible. Kurilivka in the northeast, one of countless villages regularly shelled by Russia. Today, volunteers helping Imna get to safety. She tells me, I have a heart condition, and this situation causes anxiety. It's an emotional farewell, as her husband Andriy stays behind to guard the house against looters. The couple not knowing when or whether they'll see each other again.
Phil, President Biden's going to be travelling to Poland Monday to commemorate the one-year anniversary of the war. He's going to meet with leaders of former Soviet republics that are now part of NATO, and he's expected to make it clear that the United States will continue standing with Ukraine for as long as it takes. Phil?
Ian, panel, thank you. And as we approach that one-year mark, President Zelensky said today that Russia's spring offensive has already begun. I want to bring in and I want to welcome Serhiy Gusovsky, a major with the Ukrainian Armed Forces and pre-deployment training instructor with the International Legion of Ukraine. Major, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. President Zelensky's message to the Munich Security Conference was pretty clear. He wants allies to speed up their military support. He also predicted Ukraine could win the war this year. So I want to ask you, what do you think that would look like? What would it take for that to happen?
Well, I'm sure with support that has been led by United States, with coalition that actually decided to not to say okay to this Russian aggression, which is not against Ukraine, but against actually civilized world. So with this coalition, Ukraine can definitely win. And it will take some time, and it's going to be a military operation. We hope to be successful at the counteroffense, and definitely the sooner it happens, the better, because then it's going to be having also, besides military, very psychological effect on Russia as a country of terrorism and country of aggression.
Vice President Kamala Harris is in Munich, and she accused the Russians of war crimes during an interview today, citing reports of Russian forces sexually assaulting a 4-year-old child. So I want to know, does the world have a true picture of the atrocities playing out in your country?
Sometimes it seems to be that, the world better not know all the things that, aggressor does on the Ukrainian territory, because there are things that you just simply cannot believe that human beings can cause that kind of approach towards human beings. So, I mean, this is a barbaric war.
You talk about a barbaric terrorist country. Do you believe that Russian President Vladimir Putin will ever pay for what he's done here?
I'm sure that it's a question of the way the international community work. If international community would be ready to sign to close whatever kind of deal, to shake hands with Putin, then yeah, it's questionable. But I'm sure that after what is done, there is no way back. He should be. There should be kind of things. There should be The Hague. There should be whatever. He should be prosecuted, and not only him, because it would be a mistake to say that it's just his war. It's the war that actually Russia as a country, fighting against civilized world and against Ukraine.
Major, as you point out, the U.S. has, of course, provided billions of dollars as well as weapons to Ukraine. There have also been Americans who have joined the front lines and lost their lives. That includes Joshua Jones, U.S. Army veteran nicknamed Tactical Jesus, who was killed in Donbass in August. You met Joshua in his pre-deployment training and visited him on the front lines. You're actually in Tennessee today for his burial. Tell us something about him. What can you tell us about him?
Since I knew Josh, quite good, and we spent, quite many days together, both at training and when I, visited him on the front line, I can tell lots of stories. But, thing I would like to convey is that it's not just Memphis, it's Memphis and the United States of America that should be proud of, of a man called Joshua Jones, who is really a true son of United States of America, and he is a true warrior because he behaved as somebody who really believed, what he was doing. And in this case, I would like to really accentuate the fact that he was a true warrior and he was fighting for the good. He understood that it was clear that it's more than just war of aggression of Russia against Ukraine. It's a war between the good and the evil, and he wanted for the good definitely to make a victory, and he did everything that he could, and he sacrificed his life. And I'm sure that we understand that he was not a victim; he was a true hero.
That's a wonderful way to put it, and thank you so much for sharing part of your relationship with him, especially on this day as his family and his loved ones lay him to rest. Serhiy Gusovsky, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. Be safe.
Thank you. And God bless America. God bless Ukraine.
When we come back, new developments in the $1.6 billion defamation suit against a media empire. The revealing text messages now submitted into evidence. Plus, actor Milo Ventimiglia joins us as he steps into a role of a con man. But next, the woman convicted for convincing her teenage lover to kill her husband has another shot at being released. 3 decades later, as she serves a life sentence, Pamela Smart still maintains her innocence.
I spent 32 and a half years in prison. When will enough be enough?
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
He may not look like central casting for a movie star hero, but what he did and how he risked it all to save hundreds of lives from terror are what heroes are made of.
Really? That guy?
What's the life and death truth behind what he did? Truth and Lies, The Informant. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Tonight, the New Hampshire Supreme Court is considering whether or not Pamela Smart should get the right to petition for commutation. Smart has served more than 30 years in prison for her role in the 1990 shooting death of her husband. She maintains she's innocent. Nightline anchor Juju Chang has been following the story for years and has the latest developments.
Oh, if anybody deserves freedom, it's Pamela.
Why do you think she deserves freedom?
It's been 32 years. She's a prison is a place to send to be rehabilitated. And if anybody is a rehabilitated inmate, it's Pamela.
It was the headline-grabbing trial of the 90s. Pamela Smart's murder case captivated the country.
Groupies of the Pamela Smart trial camp out for hours.
If this story were a made-for-TV movie, and it surely will be, you might not believe it.
The then 22-year-old accused of convincing her teenage lover and his friends to murder her husband, Greg Smart.
She became a villain. She became a tabloid star in the worst of ways.
People were glued to it, one of the first nationally televised murder trials, helping usher in the era of court TV with a sensational tale of forbidden love and a brutal crime.
But I never would have done it if Pam didn't tell me to. She was the first girl I ever loved. I pulled the trigger. God forgive me.
Made a lot of mistakes so far in this case.
I sure have. Yes, I have.
Was killing your husband one of those mistakes?
No, it wasn't.
The saga inspiring movies like To Die For.
Did you get the gun?
Yeah.
We're going to sit here, if that's okay.
I've been following the story for years.
I have been portrayed as Black Widow, Ice Princess, a killer.
Smart adamant all this time that she was innocent while serving life without parole.
Did you mastermind the murder against your husband?
Absolutely not. No.
Part of the fascination is that she still says she didn't do it. And it makes you say, is there any chance, maybe, she's telling the truth?
Now, for the first time, a high-stakes hearing that might be her best shot at one day walking free, sparking hope for some.
Pamela Smart deserves a second chance.
and skepticism among others.
Until she admits that she was the orchestrator of this crime, I don't believe she is rehabilitated at all.
We're getting a call from Pam Smart.
Smart herself pleading her case.
An incarcerated individual.
Calling us from behind bars.
Do you feel like this is sort of your last best shot at freedom?
I actually do. It feels like this is the last stand, so to speak.
In 1990, the execution-style murder of Greg Smart shattered this close-knit town of Derry, New Hampshire. Pam, who worked at a local high school, seemingly grieving for her newlywed husband. But authorities soon discovered that she'd been having an affair with a teenage student, William, or Billy Flynn.
There were two major issues in this case. Number one is all of the boys turning on her. And number two is the audio tape.
Now you know you're going to be on the witness stand. And they're just going to put you on there, and I'm going to say, did you know? And you're going to say no. Did Pam do this? No.
Yeah, I say she's just like the mafioso boss who isn't there necessarily when the hit occurs, but who's ordered to kill him.
All four teenaged accomplices, including her former lover, who pulled the trigger, have long since been released. Only Smart remains behind bars.
Why do you deserve release from prison?
Well, I don't know if I would characterize it as deserving it. I am asking for mercy and compassion. I've spent 32 and a half years in prison. When will enough be enough? I've been pretty much, the epitome of rehabilitation.
I just listened to her heart saying, look, I'm probably going to die in prison. I had that feeling before.
Derek Hamilton was wrongfully incarcerated for 21 years for a murder he didn't commit. His conviction overturned in 2015.
I believe that every human being have redeemable qualities. Society has an obligation to take a look at those. It don't mean you get a get out of jail free card, that they should evaluate who you are today.
Smart's only hope for release, a commutation by New Hampshire's governor. But every time she's applied for a hearing with the governor's executive council, she's been denied. The council and New Hampshire's attorney general argue that Smart has never truly admitted her guilt.
Guilt and innocence shouldn't matter when we talk about rehabilitation. To say no to Pamela Smart is to say no to rehabilitation.
Hamilton encouraged Smart to take her fight to New Hampshire Supreme Court. In her recent filing, and for the first time, Pam says she accepts responsibility.
What exactly do you think you're responsible for when it comes to Greg's death?
I'm responsible for not picking up on the warning signs that were there when Bill was becoming more obsessive and unhinged, for not doing something about it, for becoming involved with him in the first place. I was married. I should have been better. And because of my failures, Greg, an innocent person, is no longer here.
Some people say that the fact that you're still incarcerated has to do with not, quote unquote, admitting to your guilt. How relevant do you think it should be?
I don't know how much more responsible I can be than saying that I am responsible for Greg's death, and it is my fault that Greg is no longer here. If people want me to admit to parts of things that I did not do, that's not going to happen. The only thing I have left in this world is my word.
She's never looked the camera in the face and said, yes, I got my lover, Billy Flynn, to kill my husband. Until she admits responsibility, I would say no one is entitled to have their sentence considered.
Paul Maggiotto was the lead prosecutor in the Smart trial. He urges the public to remember Greg Smart.
I don't want the facts to be forgiven. Greg's life was taken away without any consideration by anybody based on the selfishness of Pam Smart.
Pamela Smart's supporters have written hundreds of letters, examples that her attorneys believe show her being a model prisoner.
I was working with
Bea Gonzalez wrote one of those letters. She and Smart once lived in the same cell block.
She's my best friend. She's my sister.
The two women forging a bond, sharing their dreams of motherhood beyond the prison walls.
I said, when I go home and if I have a daughter, I'm going to name her Pamela.
Why?
To honor her, so she feel like she got something out here in the world still waiting for her. Sorry.
Bea was released in 2015 and later had a daughter, Pammy. That tribute to her friend.
Sorry, slide up.
Mommy! But the first time you met Pammy in person, what was that like?
Oh my God. My heart was just soaring. She's the delight of my life right now.
What do you tell her? How do you give her? It's gonna be fine. Just, whatever God gonna decide He's gonna do. And you just can't give up.
Our thanks to Juju for that. Still ahead on Prime, video captures the moment a group of robbers steals $50,000 of merchandise, and this happened in just seconds. And a man who was not only a pioneer in civil rights, but also in space travel. The tests that put his body at risk, hitting speeds of 100 miles per hour in just 50 feet.
What did it feel like?
It felt like everything in the back of your body was trying to come out through the front.
But next, NBA legend Michael Jordan celebrating his birthday by giving back. We take a closer look at how he's helping children in need by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now. This is where the newsmakers come first in the morning to be heard. America's #1 morning show.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000. Yeah. Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
Wherever the story, ABC's Good Morning America is right there.
Zoo! 200!
Oh, 200.
200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks. He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy. Yay! He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Shout out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening.
How lucky are we?
ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. All new, streaming weeknights.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. NBA legend Michael Jordan is celebrating his birthday in a big way. It's a big birthday, too, by making priceless memories for children in need of a boost. So let's take a look at this by the numbers. The 6-time NBA champion is celebrating his 60th birthday today, and he's marking it by making a $10 million donation to Make-A-Wish. It's the largest donation ever from an individual in the organization's 43 years of making wishes come true for children with critical illnesses. Jordan has participated with Make-A-Wish for 34 years since his playing days, bringing smiles to kids who requested to meet him as their wish. And he says he hopes his donation will spur others to give give to the organization. Jordan was named Make-A-Wish Chief Wish Ambassador in 2008 for the, quote, life-changing impacts he's had on Wish kids and their families. According to the organization, Jordan says, quote, witnessing their strength and resilience during such a tough time in their lives has truly been an inspiration. With the support of donors and more than 32,000 volunteers, Make-A-Wish says it has granted more than 520,000 wishes worldwide since the organization's founding in 1980. One of the most popular wishes granted, a trip to Disney. Roughly 145,000 children with critical illnesses have been granted a wish by Disney. In fact, 1 out of every 2 wishes granted in the U.S. has been a Disney wish, according to the organization. Disney, by the way, is the parent company of ABC News. There is much more ahead here on Prime. Why an NBA Hall of Famer just agreed to pay the Securities and Exchange Commission more than $1 million. And from a standout father and husband in This Is Us, Milo Ventimiglia tells us how his new series tells a very different kind of love story. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
So much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. But a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
Disturbing is the word to describe this story.
Master manipulator Larry Ray terrorizing his daughter's classmates.
More than a decade of abuse.
Psychological torture, sleep deprivation, sexual humiliation. That's only the half of it.
I want to get out!
Watching the documentary for the first time was so emotional.
I have no memory of that happening.
If he wanted to get to you, please, he would.
Under His Spell, Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're gonna love it.
What are the secrets that most people don't know?
Let me see your ID card.
Wait.
This is a world you will have to live in. There's no going back.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
A weather swing for most of the country tonight, from Texas to Maine. Temperatures are about to take up to a 50-degree plunge. So let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. Rob.
Hey, Phil, yeah, back to winter's reality here in the east. Even had some snow falling here in New York City. Big difference in temperatures from yesterday, certainly. Look at these record highs. Some of these, including Islip and Bridgeport, were all-time records for the month of February. Never have numbers like that been recorded on the high side. Providence, a record there, 71. Even Boston getting over 60 and into the upper 50s in Portland, Maine. But here are the numbers in the morning. Grab the winter code. Everyone from New York City to Chicago, teens and 20s, to as far south as Nashville and Dallas for wind chill. So that will certainly feel like winter. But another pretty rapid bounce back. It looks like midweek, at least the southeast, will see temperatures that will once again be record high, threatening at the very least, and some cold temperatures on the west coast. So a big trough there and kind of a ridge in the east coast, and that means a very active weather pattern in between. So more volatile weather coming for the entire country really next week. Phil?
All right, Rob Marciano, thank you. New text messages released in a $1.6 billion lawsuit against a major media company. A brazen $50,000 robbery caught on camera. And Tiger Woods apologizes after a controversial moment at a tournament. Those stories and more in tonight's rundown.
New court documents in Dominion Voting Systems' $1.6 billion defamation suit against Fox News. Dominion accusing Fox of not only knowingly promoting former President Trump's false claims that the 2020 election was stolen, but also that Dominion's voting machines were rigged. Dominion's filing, citing excerpts of evidence gathered for the suit, alleges Fox News anchor Dana Perino called Fox's coverage insane and nonsense in her text messages. But the court filings also allege Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson texted a producer saying there wasn't enough fraud to change the outcome. Fox News responding in a statement accusing Dominion of mischaracterizing the record and cherry-picking quotes without context.
After being closed for a second day following a power outage, Terminal 1 at New York's JFK Airport will resume limited operations on Saturday. The Port Authority said it was still working on repairs and restoring power in the terminal, which accounts for 5% of all flights at the airport. It lost power due to a small fire Thursday. The Port Authority said 39 of the 64 flights scheduled to arrive or depart the terminal on Friday had been canceled, with the rest of them moved to other JFK terminals and even other local airports. Officials said that no other terminals at JFK were affected by the outage.
Police are looking for a group of suspects who stole $50,000 worth of merchandise from a Givenchy store in a brazen robbery. The suspects were caught on camera during the robbery Saturday morning. They entered through the front door and stole handbags, shoes, and clothing, stuffing them in duffel bags before fleeing on foot. No arrests have been made in the robbery.
Credit card balances in the U.S. soaring to nearly $1 trillion, an all-time record high for the average American. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York shows the largest yearly increase on record, up to $130 billion.
Inflation and rising interest rates are the two big culprits. Average households now are carrying about $6,500 in credit card debt. The average APR on that is 20%. That's the highest in almost 4 decades. Credit card delinquencies, that's people who are 90 days behind on their payments, those are going up, and they're now higher than they were pre-pandemic, especially among younger borrowers.
A basketball Hall of Famer is in trouble for how he promoted cryptocurrency investments.
On Twitter, Paul Pierce said he made more money from crypto investing with Emacs than he did broadcasting basketball games with ESPN. Not only was that untrue, the Securities and Exchange Commission said Pierce never disclosed he was being paid $250,000 worth of Emacs tokens to promote them. Pierce, who won an NBA championship with the Boston Celtics, agreed to settle for $1.4 million.
Emacs is the same crypto company that Kim Kardashian came under fire for promoting in October. She also settled with the SEC for more than $1 million.
Golfer Tiger Woods has apologized one day after a controversial moment at the Genesis tournament. Woods was seen allegedly handing a tampon to partner Justin Thomas in an apparent prank after outdriving Thomas. The move generated widespread backlash, and Woods eventually apologized at a news conference.
It was supposed to be, all fun and games, but obviously it hasn't turned out that way. If I offended anybody in any way, shape, or form, I'm sorry.
The tournament is Woods' first PGA tournament start since last July, after spending the last 2 years rehabilitating his right leg and foot following a car accident in 2021.
Decades after the suppression of a violent and bloody day in the fight for civil rights, the truth is finally being revealed. And a man who survived that day is remembering his long fight for justice. From rocket sleds to lunch counter sit-ins, retired Lieutenant Colonel Alton Yates isn't just a remarkable man. His life is a lesson in perseverance and following your heart. He and his family sit down to reflect on his extraordinary accomplishments and the many challenges he has faced. His daughter, WABC's Tony Yates, shares his story.
Jacksonville, the city of 7 bridges, also nicknamed the Gateway to Florida, and as history has it, a gateway to civil rights and the birthplace of an American hero with a long list of accomplishments. What we got over here? This is from the Pope.
This one is from Pope Paul VI. The most important picture on this wall, of course, is this one, my grandchildren.
Oh, and that American hero also happens to be my father, 87 years young, retired Lieutenant Colonel Alton Yates. Here in my childhood home, Alton and my mom, Gwen, remember it wasn't all that long ago. Something as simple as buying a sandwich at a lunch counter was a right they had to fight for their children.
I never wanted them to experience the same kind of degradation.
Back in the era of Jim Crow, it didn't matter that Alton was in the Air Force, celebrated by Ebony magazine as a space pioneer. Back then, all that mattered was that he was black, and this lunch counter was for whites only. There was a place, though, where integration was protocol, Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico.
This rocket sledge has been built to develop safety devices for pilots.
This is Colonel John Stapp, nicknamed the fastest man alive.
The incredible strain on the human body was revealed by these pictures.
And it's here where young Alton would raise his hand and join Colonel Stapp in testing the limits of the body for eventual space travel. Here at Holloman, what Alton was working on for the greater good was punishing to the body. You can see him here in 1958, strapped to what was called the Daisy Track.
That was the one that could travel 100 miles an hour in 50 feet.
What did it feel like?
It felt like everything in the back of your body was trying to come out through the front. But I don't regret it.
At the time, Alton was dating a young woman named Gwen, but his work was a secret, so he couldn't say much about what he'd been up to.
I just thought you were just, out there marching. And when I saw the name Alton, I thought, well, there can't be that many Altons. And I read it and I go, my gosh, that's my Alton.
4.5 years into serving, a family emergency would cause Alton to have to return to Jacksonville. In making that drive back from New Mexico through the segregated South, the young airman did not receive a hero's welcome. He recalls one incident at a restaurant.
As I was seated, two big men came up behind me, grabbed me by my collar. Remember, I've got on my blue uniform, my Air Force uniform. These guys grabbed me, used the N-word, and told me if I didn't get my black so-and-so out there, I would never make it to wherever it was I was going. Well, I got the message. I bought a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter, and I ate peanut butter and bread 1,400 miles back to Jacksonville.
I can't even process that. I can't even imagine what that felt like.
It was embarrassing, it was humiliating, it was degrading, and it was something that I promised myself that I never, ever wanted another individual to experience.
By the time Alton made it to Jacksonville, he decided his new fight would be for change, joining the NAACP's Youth Council. Inspired by other sit-ins, like in North Carolina, those brave activists, some as young as 13, would sit at lunch counters reserved only for white patrons, asking they be served too.
There you are on the wall there.
Yeah, here I am, seated here with other members of the Youth Council, and unfortunately, at that point, we couldn't be served.
Here at the Ritz Museum, preserving African-American history in the La Villa neighborhood where my father grew up, lies a peek at what one of those lunch counters would have looked like. Normally, these peaceful sit-ins amounted to hurled insults and closed counters. On August 27, 1960, what happened at the downtown Woolworth department store would go down as a stain on Jacksonville's history. Alton revisits that dark time at nearby Hemming Park, a place named after a Confederate veteran where white men dragged Alton and others in that youth council out of the Woolworth department store and beat them with axe handles. That bloody day would become known as Axe Handle Saturday. A recently released children's book about Alton's life shows what the youth council faced.
Some even carried flags or wore uniforms of the Confederate Army, an army that 99 years earlier had gone to war against the United States. The danger was obvious. Organizers for the Youth Council saw what they were up against. The members, mostly children remember, voted to protest anyway.
Only a few photos of Axe Handle Saturday exist, like these featured in a Life magazine spread showing the chaos and bloodiness of the day. The mayor and local paper downplayed the true extent of that day, but the scars are still there, just like the scar on the back of my father's head from when he was struck by an axe handle. But as we visit the park this Black History Month, we notice a change.
Jacksonville was once one of the most segregated cities in the South. Now you can walk around and you can eat anywhere you want.
The Confederate statue to Hemming removed and the park renamed in 2020 to James Weldon Johnson Park after the Jacksonville native who wrote the lyrics to Lift Every Voice and Sing. A plaque now stands commemorating those brave young activists like my father.
It is a contradiction to the mayor's statement that nothing happened in the city.
Have you ever come across any of those men who came out to attack you guys?
During the 40th anniversary celebration, one of the Klansmen came and joined us in the march. He apologized, and he marched up here with us.
The local newspaper finally recognizing history with an apology, and locals recognizing him too.
Thank you so much.
What was once covered up, now finally given its due. It was never about a hot dog and a Coke.
Absolutely not. It was always about human dignity.
Chris Barton, the author of that children's book dedicated to my father's life, seeking to spread the word on progress.
One thing I've learned from Alton's story is the value of taking this longer-term perspective and seeing how progress does happen, how we do move forward, even when not everything is moving in that direction.
60 years later, not everyone wants to hear the truth. My father always remains an optimist.
You see over and over again some of the brutality that men of color are facing in this country. It's like, how do you stay peaceful?
You cannot lose heart. You must stay focused. You must continue the effort. You know, if you stop all effort to eliminate those kinds of conditions, they win. And we can never allow that to happen.
And perhaps he's right. Right next to that Woolworth exhibit lies a dedication to James Weldon Johnson, the man behind those stirring words to lift every voice and sing. Over 100 years since those words of hope were first written, progress in action, ringing through for the first time loud and clear at the Super Bowl.
Because of what you and so many others have done, I mean, my kids can't even imagine not having friends, you know, of all backgrounds.
As it well should be. You know, it is the diversity of this country that makes us so great. And as long as we continue along those roads, we will continue to be great as a nation.
And one other incredible accomplishment, Lieutenant Colonel Yates raised a remarkable daughter. Tony, thanks so much for sharing your dad with us. From hit show to hit show, Milo Ventimiglia has built a career on outstanding performances in popular TV shows. Up next, he takes us on two roles, leading man and executive producer in ABC's new romantic thriller, The Company You Keep. He plays a con artist with a good heart who finds himself falling in love with a CIA agent. I sat down with Ventimiglia earlier today to talk about his new role and the old advice he takes into each project.
It's complicated. The more you know about me, the faster you'll run.
What's that?
No clue. What about you? I don't think I ever got a straight answer about what it is you do for a living.
You didn't?
I didn't.
There's people we see out in the world these days that are taking advantage of their position, and other people are suffering for it. Charlie's the kind of guy who's fighting back against that, kind of a Robin Hood of the neighborhood.
You're coming off this enormous show, and you come off of this, and now people are going to get to see you in The Company You Keep in a different kind of role.
I think coming off of This Is Us and the impact of that show and what it created in conversation amongst families and partners and fathers and sons and daughters and all of that, I think was a wonderful thing. But I also knew that I needed to step away and out of that you know, good father, good husband role and do something different. playing Charlie felt like a departure.
Milo Ventimiglia has made audiences reach for their tissues playing everyone's favorite dad, Jack Pearson, in the hit show This Is Us.
Our kids, I want them to know their dad sees greatness in them.
And broke hearts in Gilmore Girls' lovable bad boy, Jess Mariano.
Move back.
What?
They'll move back.
But what? Why?
Just 1 and 2.
Now Ventimiglia is leading his new series as main character and as executive producer, helping develop the show from the very start.
There's no way she'd stick around if she knew the truth.
I mean, I know this was an adaptation from a Korean show.
Drama, yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, I did. So my company, my partner Russ Cunniff and I at Divide, we have a development deal with Disney. But John Chu, film director, who we kind of came up at the same time, we kind of got into what this story was. You know, a con man who falls in love with a CIA officer, who comes from a family of grifters, she from a political dynasty family, and how does that work? And so it had a lot of elements that we at our company like to look for in storytelling. There's a lot of similarity pulled from it, but it's definitely an American version of the show.
10 million, as agreed.
I'll need to confirm the funds. Okay, it's done the transfer of ownership, and we are... Chopper, we gotta go. Put a little too much mustard on that one, Pop.
Everything that I do and we develop as a company has a strong base and foundation of family. And I think as you're watching Charlie experience things, as you're watching the family go through these cons, you're, like you said earlier, you're rooting for them. You always want to relate to the characters and their experience and find yourself within them.
There's always heart in your character, whether it's the father in This Is Us or this. You have heart, and I think that's what people are drawn to.
My college acting professor, Sandra Caruso, wonderful, wonderful mentor, teacher, and she wrote me a letter going through, I think, several years of her studying and whatnot, just learning different methods, but also kind of discovering for myself and ourselves as students, like, where our true craft and art lies. And she wrote me this letter that I actually just found the other day, and at the end of it, she said, no matter what you play in the future, make sure you find love. If you're playing good or you're playing bad, find the love in that character. So I think that really stuck with me and made sure that if I'm playing Jack on This Is Us, I'm playing Charlie Nicoletti on The Company You Keep. If I'm playing the darkest, worst dude on Gotham, you know, doing a couple episodes of that back when that show was on, finding love within these characters. It may not be the right directed love, good guy or bad guy versus good guy, but I think that heart you're talking about, I'm always trying to find that and make sure it's present in the performance.
When I told people I was going to be able to sit and talk with you, and I will say primarily from the women in my life.
Okay.
Do you see any kind of further interaction with the Gilmore Girls?
Funny enough, I had dinner last night with Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino, her husband, who created Gilmore Girls. They remain good friends. I'm popping up again on Maisel.
And I liked him pretty instantly. He was good looking, smart. You could tell by the eyes.
We always talk about it. We always talk about doing something together. I don't know if it'll be in the Gilmore world, if it'll be with Jess Mariano, but I'm sure at some point we'll find our way to come back together again and work on a project together.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
The Company You Keep premieres Sunday, February 19th on ABC, and it's streaming on Hulu. That's our show for this hour. I'm Phil Lipoff. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, 9 months after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School, we are hearing the 911 calls from a brave 10-year-old trapped inside her classroom, and concerns over a search engine's new chatbot, the reports from users of dark and unsettling conversations.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
after an extraordinary newsmaking year. Thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings. This is where the newsmakers come first in the morning to be heard. America's #1 morning show.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000. Yeah. Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
Wherever the story, ABC's Good Morning America is right there.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening.
How lucky are we?
ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. All new, streaming weeknights.
Reporting from East Lansing, Michigan, I'm Alex Perez. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
I'm Phil Lipoff. Thanks for streaming with us. We are monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. The prosecution in the murder trial of once prominent attorney Alex Murdaugh rests today. Prosecutors possibly shredding his alibi with evidence from GM and OnStar showing he called 911 from his car just 20 seconds after arriving at the crime scene where his wife and son were shot and killed. Murdaugh told the dispatcher he had checked for a pulse. The prosecutors questioned how he would have time to do all that before calling 911. In New Jersey, a kidnapping saga right out of Hollywood. A woman who had been taken hostage in California had been held for nearly a year while being moved across the country, managed to escape and seek help. Today, her captor was charged with kidnapping and aggravated assault. And Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah reporting to federal prison in Byron, Texas today. She is sentenced to 6.5 years for wire fraud. Her husband and one of her sons were there to give her a hug goodbye as she walked into the minimum security institution. The 5 former police officers charged with second-degree murder in the beating death of Tyree Nichols were arraigned in Memphis today. Afterwards, Nichols' family spoke and made one thing very clear. Their fight for justice is just beginning. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
This was the first time the family of Tyree Nichols was able to look into the faces of these 5 former police officers.
And offer the court a plea of not guilty.
But they were all wearing masks as they entered pleas of not guilty in this Memphis courtroom.
They didn't even have the courage to look at me in my face after what they did to my son. So they're going to see me at every court date until we get justice for my son.
Unlike the 29-year-old who they are seen violently beating in this disturbing police camera video from January 7th, they will go home tonight, out on bond. One of their lawyers said it wasn't true that none of the officers tried to help the victim when it was clear he was wounded.
I think you hear his voice consistently saying, sit up, man, so you can get air. He was doing his job, no more, no less. He never struck anybody. He never did anything other than his job.
In this case, the 5 accused former policemen are all black and are all fighting second-degree murder and other charges. And the list of officers and fire department personnel who've been fired or disciplined over this continues to grow. 4 other first responders have now lost their jobs, and 9 more are under investigation.
This is where he was.
It was a tough day for the family. Before today's hearing, they met at a memorial still on the street corner where their son called out for his mother.
And let's get right to Steve now in Memphis. Steve, there could be, as you're finding out, even more potential fallout from this case in the days ahead.
That's right, Phil. We are still waiting for the possibility of federal charges in this case against these former officers. And one big development that we're learning about today, authorities here are announcing that they're reviewing about 75 cases that were handled by the police unit, the specialized police unit that these former officers belong to, that has since been disbanded. Phil?
All right, Steve Osunsami from Memphis tonight. Steve, thank you. In Los Angeles today, authorities filed federal hate crime charges against a suspect who allegedly shot 2 Jewish men outside different synagogues, with new details about how that determination was made. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman.
Tonight, federal authorities leveling hate crime charges against the suspect who shot 2 men leaving their synagogues and struck fear into the heart of Los Angeles' Jewish community.
Both shooting victims were dressed in clothing that visibly identified their Jewish faith, including black coats and head coverings.
Wednesday morning, police say Jamie Tran tailed, then targeted a man in his 40s, shooting him in the back as he left morning prayer at his synagogue.
They didn't stop them to get their wallet. There was no struggle. The guy just came out of the bushes, shot my friend, and ran away.
Then on Thursday, just about a block away, they say Tran shot another man. This one in his 70s, shot in the arm minutes after he left the synagogue. Tran, who prosecutors say has a history of making anti-Semitic comments, was captured near Palm Springs on Thursday, an AK-style rifle and a handgun found in his vehicle. According to the criminal complaint, Tran stated that he had looked up a kosher market on Yelp and decided to shoot someone in the area of the market, and that he said he knew the victims he shot were Jewish because of their headgear. Tran allegedly telling investigators he was homeless and obtained the firearms from someone he did not know in Arizona.
Jewish organizations say they're seeing rising numbers of anti-Semitic incidents, including harassment, vandalism, and violence, with cases occurring in all 50 states.
The 200% increase in reported incidents over the past couple of years, and an increasing rate of that increase over the past couple of months. Actually, we've seen a rise.
So it's actually accelerating right now?
It's accelerating, very much so, yeah.
And people in the Jewish community keenly aware of that. Let's get to Matt Gutman now. And Matt, it's Friday, it's the Sabbath tonight, and even with the suspect in custody, there are still concerns.
Lots of concern, Phil, and in addition to that, palpable fear, Jewish organization leaders tell me. They are at their highest level of alert right now, their security being bolstered by stepped-up patrols from the LAPD. But they say they have been sounding the alarm about this for months now, that hate speech online leads to hate acts, and that leads to hate crimes. Phil.
All right, Matt Gutman from Los Angeles tonight. Matt, thank you. A deadly shooting spree in a small Mississippi town claiming the lives of 6 people. The shooting happening in several locations, and now the gunman is in custody. Our Ariel Reshef has the latest.
Tonight, investigators say this man went on a deadly shooting rampage in a small town in Mississippi, gunning down 6 people at 3 separate locations in the rural town of Arkabutla, about 30 miles outside Memphis. A local elementary school and high school both going into lockdown as authorities pursued the suspect. Tonight, that suspect is in custody, authorities identifying him as 52-year-old Richard Dale Crum. Governor Tate Reeves tweeting, "We believe he acted alone. His motive is not yet known."
Ariel, thank you. And now to New York. More than 20 firefighters injured when a burning home collapsed on Staten Island. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more.
Tonight, 22 New York City firefighters have been injured battling a 4-alarm fire that raged out of control for more than an hour.
We had over 200 and something firefighters and paramedics on scene operating.
The flames torched an adjoining home on Staten Island, and 3 firefighters are in the hospital now tonight.
They were inside the building. We did have a major collapse of the rear, but they were inside the building when all this occurred.
As the firefighters were inside searching for occupants, the windows failed and the wind blew the fire intensely into the building right at the firefighters. 2 of them became trapped by fire.
The neighborhood engulfed in smoke.
There was thick black smoke. You couldn't even barely see through the street. That's how bad. I was gagging.
The cause of this fire tonight is under investigation.
And Aaron Katersky joins us now from New York City. Aaron, you just heard from the New York City Fire Commissioner. What did she say?
New York City Fire Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh, Phil, called this a very close call. She said the department nearly lost 3 of its firefighters. Tonight, though, those 3 most seriously injured firefighters are alert and stable, but the wind that's been out here tonight made this fire very, very difficult for them. Thankfully, no civilians were hurt. Phil.
All right, Aaron Katersky, thank you. On to the war in Ukraine now. As Russia makes advances in eastern Ukraine, President Zelensky is making a passionate plea to the U.S. and other Western allies to speed up the military aid. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Ukraine.
Tonight, intense battles raging across frontline areas in eastern Ukraine. Russian forces attempting to encircle the key city of Bakhmut and claim a victory for Vladimir Putin in time for the first anniversary of the start of the war just a week away. And what they can't achieve with firepower, they're trying to achieve with manpower.
They're sending a lot of troops. I don't think that's sustainable for them to keep attacking this way. There are places where their bodies are just piled up.
Ukraine insisting it'll hold Bakhmut, but struggling with low ammunition and limited firepower. President Zelensky today urging European leaders to act faster to support Ukraine.
We need to hurry up. We need the speed of our agreements, speed of decisions to limit Russian potential. There is no alternative to speed.
And in the fire zone, residents being urged to leave as soon as possible. Kurilivka in the northeast, one of countless villages regularly shelled by Russia. Today, volunteers helping Imna get to safety. She tells me, I have a heart condition, and this situation causes anxiety. It's an emotional farewell, as her husband Andriy stays behind to guard the house against looters. The couple not knowing when or whether they'll see each other again.
Our thanks to Ian Pannell from Ukraine. And tonight, more government help is on the way to East Palestine, Ohio, after that toxic train derailment now 2 weeks ago. The Biden administration has promised to send medical and toxicology teams, and the governor there has set up a medical clinic as well. Authorities say the water and air are safe, but as we've been reporting all week, residents remain skeptical about that. Mona Kosar-Abdi reports.
2 weeks after that fiery derailment sent up a massive toxic plume over East Palestine, Ohio, the governor reporting EPA officials have found no contaminants after sampling the air in 500 homes and around the community.
Nothing from the train derailment was found in the homes. Nothing was found out on the street.
But officials will keep testing in the area. So far, he says samples from the Ohio River, the municipal water supply, and private wells are coming back clean.
If you get your water from a private well, you are encouraged to use bottled water until your water is confirmed to be safe. That, again, is just out of abundance of caution.
It comes as frustration boiled over at this town hall, some complaining of health issues, residents demanding answers.
Everybody satisfied with my answer?
Mona, thank you. 4 U.S. troops and a military service dog were wounded during a helicopter raid in Syria that took out a senior ISIS leader. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more from the White House.
Tonight, 4 American Special Operations Forces and their military dog wounded in Syria after their helicopter raid on a top ISIS leader ended in an explosion.
The troops and the working dog are in stable conditions, are being treated at a U.S. medical facility in Iraq.
The raid targeting ISIS senior leader Hamza al-Hamzi, who oversaw the group's deadly terrorist network in eastern Syria. But when the troops arrived, he detonated an explosive device, the blast killing him and wounding the Americans. The White House saying President Biden has been briefed.
When it comes to situations like this, of course, the president is closely involved.
Stephanie Ramos from the White House. Stephanie, thank you. It's been 9 months now since the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman fatally shot 19 students and 2 teachers. Now, new 911 calls are being released of a brave 10-year-old student trapped in her classroom pleading for help. We want to warn you, this audio can be very hard to listen to. Our John Quinones has it.
Uvalde County 911. Can you tell me your name?
Over a series of phone calls, 10-year-old Chloe Torres pleads for help.
Please hurry. There's a lot of dead bodies.
We've spoken about things like this happening around our nation. Give them scenarios. What would they do, you know?
I am on Kelly X, because of them, nobody's listening to me. I don't understand all these situations. My dad taught me when I was a little girl. Just send help. Some of my teachers are still alive, but they're shot. Okay, please, someone's trying to get you, Chloe, okay? Please, I can't wait. I can't do anything like that.
Be quiet, Chloe. People are in there that aren't alive with you.
I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's that 6 people. 7, 8.
The 911 operator relays Chloe's information to some officers on the scene.
That should have immediately signaled a different course of action.
But the communication system, both radios and Wi-Fi, are not strong and often not working at all. And there was no command post set up to centralize information, no one collecting and effectively disseminating crucial details like Chloe's 911 calls in real time. Without a command post, there was no way to ensure that police stacked up inside the hallway had the information they needed to make the right decisions.
Our thanks to John Quinones. A weather swing for most of the country tonight, from Texas to Maine. Temperatures are about to take up to a 50-degree plunge. So let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. Rob.
Hey, Phil, yeah, back to winter's reality here in the east. Even had some snow falling here in New York City. Big difference in temperatures from yesterday, certainly. Look at these record highs. Some of these, including Islip and Bridgeport, were all-time records for the month of February. Never have numbers like that been recorded on the high side. Providence, a record there, 71. Even Boston getting over 60 and into the upper 50s in Portland, Maine. But here are the numbers in the morning. Get out of the winter code. Everyone from New York City to Chicago, teens and 20s to as far south as Nashville and Dallas for wind chill. So that will certainly feel like winter. But another pretty rapid bounce back. It looks like midweek, at least the southeast, will see temperatures that will once again be record high, threatening at the very least, and some cold temperatures on the west coast. So a big trough there and kind of a ridge in the east coast, and that means a very active weather pattern in between. So more volatile weather coming for the entire country really next week. Phil?
All right, Rob Marciano, thank you. Now to the concerns over search engine Bing's new chatbot. Some of the first users are reporting dark and unsettling conversations. Our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, brings us a sobering look into one of the latest AI innovations.
As artificial intelligence becomes more and more pervasive, some are sounding the alarm about a potentially spooky side to the emerging technology.
It turned into this sprawling, bizarre, often frightening conversation.
New York Times columnist Kevin Roose writing about what he describes as an unsettling experience after 2 hours of testing Microsoft's AI-powered chatbot for search engine Bing.
Like almost the other side of a split personality, where it was not trying to sort of be a helpful assistant.
At first, Roose says the chatbot, a computer program designed to simulate conversation, seemed useful. Then he felt things took a surreal turn.
It was moody, it was needy, it was, displaying all these personality traits.
Like a scene straight out of the movie Her.
Theodore, how long before you're ready to date?
What do you mean?
I saw in your emails that you'd gone through a breakup recently.
Well, you're kind of nosy.
Roose adding, the bot seemed to be expressing feelings of sadness, yet also declaring its love for him, even going as far as to comment on his marriage, reportedly replying, "You're married, but you're not happy. You're married, but you're not satisfied."
It told me that it had dangerous and dark fantasies about spreading misinformation or propaganda, even hacking into banks or nuclear sites.
We also gave the bot a try, asking, "Do you think you've been misunderstood lately?" The program writing, "I think that some of the reporters who've chatted with me have misunderstood me. They've twisted or distorted some of my words and actions." Microsoft writing, after a week of testing, "We need to learn from the real world while we maintain safety and trust." Adding, "In this process, we found that in long, extended chat sessions of 15 or more questions, Bing can become repetitive or be prompted, provoked to give responses that are not necessarily helpful or in line with our design tone."
Our thanks to Rebecca Jarvis for that. So we all know our smartphones can do some pretty extraordinary things, especially when it comes to tracking our health and wellness. But do we really know all the things our devices can do? Our Becky Worley breaks down the latest features to help us understand what it's all about.
You know that your phone tracks how many steps you take walking each day.
But did you know it's also analyzing the way you're walking?
Using a sensor called an accelerometer that measures, you guessed it, acceleration, and the gyroscope that measures rotation, your phone creates a profile of your walk.
Basically, if you're limping or shuffling, it'll send you an alert.
And so using that information, your iPhone can tell you whether or not you're at risk of taking a hard fall.
If you have an Apple Watch, the data you can access goes way, way up.
Heart rate, blood oxygen level, and respiratory rate are logged. While these aren't medical devices to be used if you're sick, they can help you see trends, especially for tracking your fitness. It can monitor your sleep, telling you about your REM, core, and light sleep cycles. All this data is great, but what about privacy? Let's talk privacy.
Apple cannot read or access that data. It is in your control. It's something we obviously take very seriously.
Wearables from other companies offer similar, but not exactly the same metrics. For example, in the Samsung Watch, there's no walking stability metric, but it does estimate your body fat percentage. And on the privacy front?
The health data for Samsung devices and for Google devices are actually encrypted, and so it's not possible to actually get access to this information unless you actually are the user yourself.
All right, Becky, thank you. And much more to get to coming up. Images captured around the world. The photographer behind this stunning picture that just won a major contest. But next, the group claiming responsibility after a deadly suicide attack at a police headquarters in Pakistan.
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news, free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
Bring them on. If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yeah.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
This is America's #1 streaming news, ABC News Live. Breaking news, exclusives, live reporting across the globe. ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
What are the secrets that most people don't know?
Let me see your ID card.
Wait.
This is a world you will have to live in. There's no going back.
We're tracking several headlines around the world right now. Militants launched a suicide attack on the police headquarters of Pakistan's largest city today. 3 officers and a civilian were killed and at least 18 others wounded. The Pakistani Taliban claim responsibility. The group is aligned with the Taliban in Afghanistan, with many of its leaders and fighters hiding just across the border. In Turkey, In Turkey, a man found alive trapped beneath the rubble 11 days after that massive earthquake and all those aftershocks that killed tens of thousands of people. Footage provided by the Istanbul fire brigade teams show the 40-year-old being carried to an ambulance. Search teams working overnight also rescued a woman and 2 men from the wreckage. And it is Carnival time in Brazil. The famously colorful celebration kicks off this weekend. And after 2 years of pandemic-related restrictions, Brazilians say they are ready to party. 46 million people are expected to join the festivities across the country. Now to National Geographic's first ever Pictures of the Year contest. The contest, open to both professionals and amateurs, has officially crowned its winner. Our Ginger Z with the story.
From Mongolia to Mount Rainier, packed with penguins and neon orange lava explosions, snapshots submitted to National Geographic's Pictures of the Year contest are incontestably breathtaking.
Year after year, National Geographic shows our readers what we see and what we do, but this year we wanted our readers to tell us what they see and what they do.
Thousands of photo enthusiasts gave it their best shot.
Our submissions included a wide range of technology, from everyday iPhone to robust long lenses.
The grand prize going to this flying frenzy entitled Dance of the Eagles, captured by Kartik Subramanyam, a software engineer from San Francisco who camped out for a week in Alaska, waiting for just the perfect moment.
This is the same commitment that we require of our National Geographic photographers. So making Karthik's image the winner of this photo contest is perfect.
Nat Geo awarding 9 other photographs as honorable mentions.
This image by Eric of the Eagle Hunter in Mongolia. He embedded himself with this family who carries on the tradition that is almost 3,000 years old. I love this black and white image by An Lee. What you're actually seeing here are salt wells that are said to have begun before the Inca Empire, and to this day still provide for the families who own them. This image by Teomir speaks to the quiet and peaceful and romantic moments in nature. He saw this moment and stopped on an overpass on his way home from the airport.
Visual storytelling at its best.
We hope to continue to inspire the photographer and explorer in everyone, and we hope to continue this photo contest for many years to come.
I don't know how they choose. All of them are so amazing. Ginger, thank you. And still to come, they say the truth will set you free. How one man says being honest changed the trajectory of his life.
Disturbing is the word to describe this story. Master manipulator Larry Ray terrorizing his daughter's classmates. More than a decade of abuse.
Psychological torture, sleep deprivation, sexual humiliation. That's only the half of it.
I want to get out! Watching the documentary for the first time was so emotional.
I have no memory of that happening.
If he wanted to get to you, please, he would.
Under His Spell, Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. After an extraordinary news-making year, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings. He may not look like central casting for a movie star hero, but what he did and how he risked it all to save hundreds of lives from terror are what heroes are made of.
Really? That guy?
What's the life and death truth behind what he did? Truth and Lies, The Informant. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from Atlanta, I'm Steve Osunsami. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Tonight, we are shining the spotlight on a man who is living proof that the truth can set you free. A former member of our ABC family spoke his truth and now is in love with life. Will Gans brings us his story.
Life has taken Toni Morrison to some pretty cool places. The Super Bowl, the White House, the red carpet.
Do you feel added pressure to live up to a name like Toni Morrison? Is that why your life is so glamorous? And
I've started introducing myself as Toni with a Y Morrison. So I'd never take the limelight from Mother Toni Morrison.
And like the other Toni Morrison, it was something Toni wrote that would change the trajectory of his life. What I've learned after living with HIV in secret for years. Toni, a producer for GMA at the time, publishing the essay for GoodMorningAmerica.com, writing in part, "For 8 years, I dealt with my diagnosis in hiding and I grieved in silence. Until now."
Not that I was inauthentic or that I was fake, but I realized very quickly that I too had a story that needed to be told.
The impact of stepping into his truth, immediate.
Seeing color for the first time, like living color. And I just felt that in my soul.
For Toni and for those who read his essay.
Hundreds of messages from people that I may never, ever get to meet. They're sharing their story with me.
Tony's truth-telling, opening doors he didn't even know were there. Now, the Senior Director of Communications at GLAAD.
What would you tell the younger you?
Oh my gosh, 20-something-year-old Toni Morrison. I would tell that kiddo that everything that makes you unlike everyone else are the best parts of who you are. And they're going to be the most important things that you bring into this world.
Powerful words. Tony and Will, thank you both very much. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, the ABC News app, and of course, on abcnews.com. We'll be right back.
Disturbing is the word to describe this story.